In your book, you tell a harrowing story, in my view. It spans 4 presidential administrations, and it chronicles our successes, as I noted, but also our national security failures. The world overall has become a less violent place. In your book, you attribute this success to something you call the tools of soft power, which are often underfunded in favor of military force.
Hard power is military power. Soft power is everything else. And most military types would tell you war needs to be the last resort. We need to try everything else first. Soft power has or had a really big chance to succeed in Afghanistan after 9/11. 20 years later, we just left Afghanistan in kind of a mess. It happened because we didn't have a strategy for what would happen after the 60 days. The military argued that we needed to stay because if we didn't stay, the place would be destabilized. We hurt America's chance of success there. And had we done it differently, I think we would be in a very different place now. Our government funds something called the National Endowment for Democracy, NED. What the US government is investing in through the National Endowment for Democracy is building political capacity. And if you want governments to work to serve their own people, that's what you build.
I think we all know misinformation is a rising threat. I think one of the errors we make is to not stand up against misinformation.
Just shortly into our action against Afghanistan, I was in Congress and I started getting phone calls from some people in the Bush 43 administration about, there's a real problem with Iraq. And I traveled to various places that had intelligence agencies like the UK that corroborated the information in the NIE we had. The information that I read was cherry-picked and sorted through to present a case that wasn't a true case. The case was wrong and I was wrong. And we ended up with 2 major endless wars and less stability. A number of us on a bipartisan basis decided we needed to reform how these NIEs are done and reform our intelligence community to connect the dots. We created the Director of National Intelligence, this new major office, to be a coordinator across 16 intelligence agencies. And that law was enacted in 2004. And the DNI adds a lot of value. Put the country first, and that the hard problems require us to come together and wrestle with the hardest problems. Then guess what? We can make better laws.
I just think you can't get too depressed by the bipartisanship because you realize in this particular case, one person can easily become 4 people, and you start building an army. That's where I go away from just pulling my hair at things that might not happen at the federal level yet and think, well, we can sure do it here. And I think that's a way to go.